So welcome back to Mummy Cooks Homemade. Today we're going to be making some stuffed peppers. I won't be eating these because I don't like them. I'm the boring one of the house. So in this pan I've got 500 grams of mince, which I'm going to turn on now. I've also got a small red onion chopped up, 1 stick of celery, a full packet of oyster mushrooms. Can you see? Have I put it in the right place or not? There. So, red onion, celery, a full packet of oyster mushrooms that needed using up because I got them on reduced yesterday. I've also got a ball of mozzarella chopped up. I am going to be using some cheddar on top as well, grated up. And what else? You know what, you can never find out when you actually want to look for it. Here it is. Worcester sauce, celery salt and garlic pepper, some sage because we're using pork. Got some garlic puree, some ginger puree which we never use. So I thought we'd try out something different. I say we, my husband, because he's eaten them. And also chilli pepper puree. So it'll be a little bit spicy. But he likes spicy, so pop them there, then you can drop down. Pop them there, then you can see them. So let's get cracking on this pork. I'm not adding any rice at all to these stuffed peppers because I'm using all the oyster mushrooms, and that'll bulk it out. Just going to leave this mince to cook down, and then once it's cooked down we'll come back. Right, so we're back and the pork is cooked through. Now to this I'm going to add a couple of dashes of Worcestershire, squeeze of garlic, 1 clove if you're using fresh, and add a bit of ginger. That was a bit, don't tell him it was a big splodge. Some chilli paste, let's say about half a teaspoon of celery salt, the same garlic pepper, and about a teaspoon of sage. And a good mix. So with these oyster mushrooms I'm just going to tear them up. I'm not going to chop and dice them, I'm just going to tear them up and pop them in. Could of course use regular mushrooms. Any filling that I have left over I will bag up and freeze, and then I'll have some filling ready ready for the next time that I want to do him some stuffed peppers. These oyster mushrooms are actually quite meaty. So this is the first time that we've bought these. And you got quite a lot in that packet as well. I was really surprised. So that's the oyster mushrooms in. Get a good old stir. And you can see how meaty this is, especially with the oyster mushrooms in, as to why I wouldn't bother adding any rice. Right, now I'm going to add the red onion and the celery. All I'm going to do with this now is add, this is my own spice mix that I make for wedges or for anything like this really, and it's essentially, I would say half the tub is Cajun seasoning, then you've got like garlic powder, onion powder, oregano, smoked paprika, tandoori, absolutely all sorts in here. I'm going to put a heaping teaspoon in there for now and see how we get on with that. For my husband, the spicier the better. So he'll have 2 of these peppers for his tea, and then the other 2 I will wrap up with whatever's left, if there's any left, and pop it in the freezer. There's only him in the family that's going to eat this. I'm going to add a little bit of liquid because I want it to cook. So all I'm doing is putting, I've got a pint glass basically, and I just put a quarter of, yeah, I'd say about a quarter of a pint glass of water. This is just basically so it coats the bottom, allows the rest of the ingredients to cook and doesn't get burnt. So I'm just going to leave this on here now for 10 to 15 minutes to cook away. If anybody wants the actual measurements to fill, I mean this was Dow Egbert's coffee jar, the large one. So when I do my mixes, like for my roast potatoes and stuff like this, I do it in this size jar. So if anybody wants a recipe for this size jar worth of this mix, then just send me a private message and I'll work out the measurements for you. As I say, I use it on wedges. I chuck it into things like this. Fajitas, instead of buying the mix, just use that. It's handy for a lot of things. So like I said, I'll leave this to cook now on the lowest setting. I'm going to put the fan on so it doesn't set my alarm off, and I'll see you again when this is cooked through. Right guys, we are back. So that's all cooked. See, there is quite a lot in there. Husband's had a taste. He really likes it, so yeah, he likes them oyster mushrooms as well. Says they're very meaty. So what I'm going to do is I've got some chopped mozzarella ball. Just going to stick a couple of pieces at the bottom of each, so when it's cooked it goes all melty. And yes, melty is a technical term. So I'm just going to fill these up now. I'm going to try and force as much into each one as I can. It's a messy job, but someone's got to do it. Maybe if you're into stuffed peppers, this is a new one you can try, because they're usually always stuffed with rice. But try substituting that rice for some chunky mushrooms, which are healthier anyway. 0 fat. Not that I'm worried about fat levels or anything. Oh, poo. Oh well, dog will be happy. Dropped a bit on the floor. So I'm really trying to, like I say, just shove, oh that's hot, as much in as I can get in. I haven't pre-cooked the peppers, simply because they're going into the oven later anyway. So they will get cooked then. And I find they freeze much better as well if you don't pre-cook. I think I'm getting at the limit now. The amount of mince I had was 500 grams of pork mince, in case anyone's interested. That's it. I can't get any more in there. So I'll need a container. There's anyone else's cupboard to do that. You open them and everything chucks itself at you. So, waste not, want not. If you've got enough money to waste food, then you should be donating some of that bloody food, I think. Don't waste food. There's so many people out there that don't have anything, and especially coming up on the time of year that we are now. These stands are absolutely brilliant. They keep your pan in place while you're trying to empty it. Linda and Fran, I know both of you have got one of these pans. This trivet, this silicone, and it was off eBay. I think it was maybe $3.50. So if you need a hand, because these are so heavy, look at the gaps in it, and it'll balance your pan. As long as you're holding one side of it, it'll balance your pan, and it won't slip because it's silicone. If that's any help to you ladies, I know you was saying about how heavy the pan is, which I think is what makes it so good. Right, get rid of my trivet. So I've got all that as well. There's enough there. Steve's, when he tried this, said this would be good in enchiladas. So maybe if you don't want to do this recipe for the stuffed peppers, maybe you could make enchiladas. Because he said that's what that would be really good in. So I've got enough there to make him some enchiladas. So that 500 grams has done 2 meals. I'll stick some more mozzarella on. Another piece on the floor. The dog's going to be absolutely ecstatic. The dog is like my youngest daughter. Loves cheese. The 2 that I'm putting in the freezer, I would just either put into a container like this, obviously a deeper one, or I would wrap in cling film, then in foil, and then in cling film again. And just pop them in like that. 1 second, guys. I'm going to try and find... There it is. A block of cheese. Could have grated it yet, probably. Can't be bothered to get the grater out though, so this is what I'm doing. So the ones that I'm putting the cheddar on is the ones that he will have today. I would only put cheddar on the ones I'm going to freeze if it was grated. Cheese does not freeze well unless it's grated, so... And there you have it, guys. Zoom you in. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Hang on, move this as well while I'm at it. Hang on. There we go. And that's what we have. Stuffed pork stuffed peppers with oyster mushrooms. And I will show you them later when they've been cooked. But they've already got the stamp of approval from the hubby. So thank you guys, as always, for watching. You guys are absolutely brilliant. Today we passed 600 subscribers, which left me gobsmacked. So thank you guys so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. So yes, there we go. And I will show you them when they're cooked at tea time. So leave your comments below. Like, comment, share. Have a chat with me in the comments. Don't be shy. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Right guys, so I've just took them out of the oven. Cheese is melted everywhere, obviously. And they are lovely and cooked and juicy, as you can see, and the inside from the meat and that. So that's it, that's the pork stuffed peppers. Thanks guys, bye.